What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Clark Tank. First off, this article on VentureBeat came out this week, and I noticed it only because it mentioned Crypto the Necrodancer, and I have a Google alert for Crypto the Necrodancer, so whenever anybody says Necrodancer, I magically appear. So yeah, this article mentioned Crypto the Necrodancer because it's about a game called Drifting Lands that is a mashup between like a side-scrolling shooter R-type of game and Diablo-ish RPG. And I guess it didn't sell as well as they may have hoped, which is unfortunate. It looks like a well-made game. It looks quite pretty, and a lot of thought obviously went into it. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because they're saying people like mashups until they don't. And I just want to make sure that if people are trying to, mash up genres in order to create something that's more hooky or interesting, that there are, I think, ways to do it that work well and ways that may or may not work well. So the way that I've done it, I've actually made two mashups in my career. The first one I made was a game called Fizzball, which was a cross between Katamari Damacy and Breakout. And the second one, obviously, is Necrodancer, where we mashed up rhythm games and roguelike games. And both times, we did it not just because, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we put these two genres together? Because, maybe that could work. Maybe those two genres would go together well. Maybe they won't. I think that is a bit more luck-based. But I think that it works well when you can see there's a flaw in this genre that if I take some pieces of that other genre and combine them, it will fix that flaw. And so you get not only a fixed type of game and a new type of game, but also you get that mashup wackiness that people may be interested in talking about. So with Fizzball, the thing that we did was, so everybody's played Breakout, I imagine, and one of the worst things about Breakout or Arkanoid or any of those types of games is when you have one brick left and you just can't hit that freaking brick, and it's kind of annoying. And like Breakout, it's most fun at the beginning when there's lots of stuff to hit, but then as you go on in that level, it gets less and less fun as you're doing stupid aiming stuff to try and hit those few remaining things. So it's kind of seems backwards. Like, shouldn't the level get more exciting as it goes on? So what we did is we made it so that the ball in Fizzball, you're actually like, it was a casual-ish game from back in the day. You're like rescuing animals, and the ball gets bigger and bigger the more stuff it contains. So at first, it can only pick up small things because it's small. So it can only pick up like butterflies and ducklings and stuff like that, and rescue them. And then as it picks up things, it grows and grows, and eventually it can pick up cows and really large animals. And it feels better and better as you go, because your ball is bigger, it's more destructive, it can break things more easily, and it's more exciting because you're just like wreaking havoc on the level. And so at the beginning you're like being strategic and trying to hit those small things that you can actually pick up with the ball, and then as you do that, it feels rewarding because your ball gets bigger and bigger, and eventually you get rewarded with just the total chaos and just wrecking everything. So we saw a problem in a specific genre and took something from another genre, so Katamari Damacy, where you can't pick up big things until your ball gets bigger. So we did that exact thing in Fizzball, and it worked really well, and it was quite fun. And with Necrodancer, the reason why I mashed up those genres is because I played a lot of Rogue when I was a kid, and other roguelikes, of course, like NetHack and stuff. And especially with Rogue, I felt like it's not always fair. Sometimes you just don't seem to get enough food. I don't think that most seeds are even winnable. Like, even if you had the most skill, even if you could like, see the memory and see all the information, I'm not sure if all seeds of Rogue are winnable. And so that was frustrating to me as a kid playing Rogue over and over again. That, even if you were having a great run and had great items and weapons and armor and all that stuff, you could just run out of food and die from that. Whereas some roguelikes, I'm using the term loosely, like Spelunky, it feels totally fair to me because, well, almost totally fair. Because when you die in Spelunky, it's your fault because you jumped on those spikes or you failed to whip the bat or whatever. And it's your own skill that, fails you and causes you to die. So I was wondering can we get that same sort of thing, the same sort of feeling that when you die, it's actually your own fault, into a roguelike game. And so I decided, well, the reason why Spelunky feels like that is because it's kind of real-time-ish. There's actual time-based skill involved. So I thought, okay, well, I don't want to change roguelikes too much to make, you know, to take the turns out of it or something like that. So why don't we just make the turns faster? Because that makes it time-based and introduces skill because you have to think quickly. And that kind of felt like moving on the beat. And so that, you know, moving quickly, making quick turns kind of felt like moving on the beat. So then I tried playing it with Thriller by Michael Jackson as the music and moving on the beat of Thriller, and that just felt really good. So that part of it was a fluke, the part that, you know, it ended up being a rhythm game. But I was trying to take, you know, existing genre that had flaws and fix those flaws. So yeah, I think that it can work if you just take two genres and put them together. Maybe they'll work out well, and maybe, you know, that will get you some people saying, wow, that's a crazy thing to try. That sounds interesting. I'll check it out. So it is hooky to mash things together. But, you know, it won't necessarily work if it's not for a reason. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up in case any of you out there are considering mashing things up in the future, because the 2 times that I've done it with this method, I think turned out really good. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that quickly. Plenty of other things to get to today. Yeah, there was some controversy this week regarding Valve's response to a developer here. I'm not sure how even, so this is a tweet by the Steam Spy guy. I'm not sure how even this, you know, came to be public knowledge. It seems like it came from the Steam developer forums. But some guy got rejected when he asked for a batch of Steam keys. My reaction to it was, wasn't it always like this? I'm pretty sure that when you request Steam keys on the page there, you know, it says stuff, or in the documentation somewhere, it says stuff that, like, you cannot request unreasonable amounts, that they may not approve them. The very fact that they have to approve your request indicates that maybe sometimes they won't approve them. Which is reasonable. Like, you can't have a billion Steam keys. No, you can't. So yeah, it doesn't seem too surprising to me. I can understand why people would be a bit scared about it, though, because obviously Valve and Steam has a lot of power in the PC gaming arena, and if they decide to start limiting what devs can do on their platform, that could be scary. But I think that if you are doing things above board, not doing anything sketchy, it should totally be fine. So alright, moving on. And now Tacoma. Let's watch the trailer for this. So anyway, Tacoma is made by the people who made Gone Home. And actually, did somebody just say, I just want to go home?
I just want to go home.
Yep.
It's going to be alright.
So yeah, Steve Gaynor and company, Fulbright, they're called, I believe. Yep. They made this, and yeah, they were the ones who made Gone Home, which was a big hit and kind of seemed to kick off a bit of a trend, or like a revival in indie adventure games. But unfortunately, it looks like it has not sold nearly as well as Gone Home. I wonder if it's the game, like it's got reasonably good reviews, or if this is indicative that there was kind of a trend for a while and now it's peaking. Because I got to imagine that they did a good job on this game. They did a great job on Gone Home. I played that, but I haven't played this. And spent a lot of time on it, and it looks great. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I guess one of the things we do on the Clark Tank is try to see how different genres are doing. And this is like a sequel to a flagship game in the genre, and it didn't do that well. And yeah, kind of one of the themes of today's Clark Tank is indie sequels. And I guess this isn't a sequel, but it is a game in the same genre from a company that, you know, had success in that genre before. So anyway, I imagine this genre is still viable, but you need to be very careful and make sure that your game has a totally unique premise that people are surprised by and are really going to talk about. Yeah, I think that wraps up the non-homework stuff that I wanted to discuss. Uh-oh, is our top 50 not going to load? Oh no. Oh noes. Trouble. We might have to do the top 50 old school style. Okay, well, we'll do it the old-fashioned way this week. So the main downside, the thing that this page did that doing it on Steam doesn't, is this: we are going to be seeing games that are selling well right now, which means that, you know, Asia is asleep right now, and so we are going to see something that's skewed more towards North America and Europe. So yeah, Battlegrounds still at the top of the charts, just like forever. When do you guys think it will be not at the top of the charts? Christmas? Maybe? CSGO back up quite high. Path of Exile has been doing really well lately, and Dota, because the international, I guess, is getting some buzz. Now Prey is up here because it's on sale. Now this came out, you know, earlier this year, but there's other Warhammer stuff going on right here. Okay, Rocket League is just a perennial seller. It's usually around here somewhere. Total War Warhammer is coming out on the 28th of September, so doing quite well for pre-orders. It's still more than a month and a half off. Well, a month and a half off. Dragon's Dogma, it's up here because it's on sale. Warframe, a free-to-play game, has been creeping up and up. And now Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice. I don't even know how you pronounce this. I thought about playing this today. But anyway, let's check out the trailer of this, because it has been in the charts since it launched. The graphics in this are so cool and creepy. And they make a heavy use of, like, facial expressions, eyes wide and stuff like that, and mouth doing weird things like this. Like, that makes you feel things in your guts. They accomplished this without a publisher? Jared? Wow. I am surprised. And impressed, yes. But yeah, anyway, I think there's a lot to be learned about, you know, the emotions you can evoke with the, like, look at that face. Oh, these faces. And her body language and stuff, the movement, I don't know, it's impressive. And I think that should always be your goal with a trailer, is to make people feel stuff. It's not easy to do. But if you can, it's much more likely to stick with them or get them to talk about it, right? And I think they did a great job with that trailer. The combat is really simple. Oh, dang. Yeah, I probably wouldn't like it then. That's impressive that it's staying so high in the charts then, because games like that don't tend to do super well on Steam. I think then that's just even more a testament to how good that trailer is, and, you know, how good the graphics look. So City Skylines, and actually, obviously, this has been out for a long time. We've talked about it plenty, but I noticed I have it wishlisted. I wishlist some games just so that I can have the experience of seeing what it feels like to be a wishlister. And I actually learned something from it. And I knew this before, but I don't know, it struck me a bit more with this City Skylines one. I think they did a good job of it. So when something that you have wishlisted goes on sale, you get an email about it, right? Usually. And then you'll see an image, and having this sort of thing, new content available now, it made me look twice. Like, I've seen emails for City Skylines wishlist before, and I just, you know, went to my next email or whatever. But this time, because of this circle with this text in it, it made me stop and take notice, and I thought, oh, maybe I should buy it now. So, you know, it doesn't require too much effort to make some change to your graphics to stand out. But yeah, whenever you have like a wish list worthy event, something that's going to get wish list emails sent out, you might want to consider it. All right, moving on. City Skylines is up here because it's on sale, and you know, probably a bunch of people saw this thing like I did in their wish list and bought it. Now, Slime Rancher, dominating since it came out August 1st. They are just freaking printing money over there. And it's interesting. It's like one of the few very cute and colorful games that does really well on Steam. I think it's because, well, it's a super well-made game, but also it's a testament to the fact that people like farming-type games, ranching games and stuff like that, and there are not very many of them. But yeah, it's also just a really well-made game. Graphics are amazing, and, you know, the slimes have so much personality and stuff. It got a lot of things going for it, but it does also show that farming, ranching kind of gameplay is compelling and works well on Steam. GTA is lower than, well, it's got mixed reviews ever since that controversy, I guess. King of the Kill a little lower than usual. Now, Darkwood came out yesterday. Let's check this out. It looks spooky. Oh man, it's like strict overhead view. Can it actually still be spooky in strict overhead view? They would need some sweet audio. That's cool animation on that 2D image. This trailer, 4.5 minutes long, and text. Trailer, You're not really spooking me. Yeah, well, this is the game. That's true, Bart. But often in the trailer, you want to show what the game makes you feel rather than what the game necessarily strictly is. And what can we learn from that? Well, Steam likes horror games, that's for sure. Steam also really likes dark games, which horror games usually are. Conan Exiles, which had a huge launch, and it was parked near the top of the charts for quite a long time. Alright, where were we at? We were at Conan Exiles. So Resident Evil is up here because it's on sale. Black Desert Online has been in the charts lately, perennially. Same with Rainbow Six Siege, has been in forever. The Division's up here because it's on sale. Escapist 2 coming out in 3 days. It's been in the charts for a while. And now, here we go. Agents of Mayhem came out recently, and I'm kind of surprised it didn't do better. Not because it looks amazing, but because it comes from the people who made Saints Row and Saints Row 2 and Saints Row 3, and so I would imagine they have a lot of followers, you know, a lot of community that were interested in those games that would follow them to this game. But yeah, it just seems like they're going for controversy more so than emphasizing why the gameplay would be interesting. But yeah, that was, you know, one of the games that could potentially have knocked Battlegrounds off the top because it's first person or third person-y. But yeah, it did not. It failed to, and it's dropping off the charts fairly quickly, even though when it came out just a couple days ago. Alright, so yeah, I'm a bit surprised that the Escapist is doing this well too, but the first one sold extremely well. But yeah, like, this is just pre-orders. It's pretty impressive. There's TF2, it's usually around somewhere, and Dark and Light slowly falling off. So we talked about it last Clark Tank. Oh, there's Dark and Light again, so it might have changed when we switched here. Let's see. Ah, good. I didn't want to miss West of Loathing. So, West of Loathing came out a week ago, and is still in the charts, and it's a stick figure black and white game. Can you believe this? Now, why do you guys think this game is doing so well? This game is legitimately hilarious, yeah. Yes, it's legitimately hilarious, and it has a fan base from Kingdom of Loathing. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm curious, like, how much of this is because this game is amazing on its own and hilarious and whatnot, or how much of it is that they brought their existing audience along with them. Hard to say. Hard to say, but either way, awesome to see them doing really well. Did they ever launch anything else on Steam? No. But yeah, awesome to see it doing well at like a weird, innovative, different game, and always makes me happy when games like that can do well on Steam or anywhere. But yeah, congrats to them. All right, Observer has been getting some buzz lately as well. Let's check this out. What even is this game? Okay, I thoroughly do not understand what was happening in that trailer. Can someone explain to me? Alright, so Dark and Light we talked about last. Clark Tank. Smite is usually around, or often around somewhere. Dead Rising 3 is on sale. Football Manager, wow, okay, so this is pre-orders for it. And it's not coming out till November, holy smokes. Dead Rising is on sale. Remember Me is on sale. Sonic Mania. I like this trailer, the cartoony start of it. It's, like, pretty awesome. If you're a fan of Sonic, that 2D intro, that animated intro, I don't see how it could fail to get you hyped. PC is still pre-orders? Oh, really? So it's only out on console? Yeah. August 29th. Okay. Yeah, so that should probably climb. We shall see. But yeah, congrats to Paul. It looks gorgeous. Alright, so yeah, we'll see next Clark Tank where Sonic Mania is at. And now Lawbreakers, which we talked about a little bit. So, this is from Cliffy B, renowned game designer, maker of many, many first-person shooters. And you've been working on this one for a while. And it was near the top of the charts when it launched, but now it's been falling a bit more quickly than I expected. And why do you guys think that that is? I almost played this on the stream as well, but have any of you played it? You haven't talked to many streamers excited about Lawbreakers. Well, why? Plenty of people still play Overwatch. Is it not kind of Overwatchy, but new and you fight in the sky? And its marketing materials kind of unabashedly say that it's a game for, you know, hardcore people who don't want their shooters dumbed down. So perhaps it's, you know, the skill required to play it well, because they added a whole other dimension, you know, flying around in the sky and stuff, makes it too difficult for some people. I wonder if it's that. Park Overwatch, nice, WB. Yeah, PUBG is dominating still. I wonder if just the presence of PUBG makes it harder for any other game in the genre to compete, because so many people are still just playing PUBG every night, right, with their friends. Also, tribes of slow projectiles. This is more like CSGO with slightly flying. And yet CSGO does not seem to be too affected by PUBG, because it's still at the top of the charts right alongside PUBG. So I would say that probably is not it. Well, for whatever reason, it is dropping off a bit, which I imagine the team is, you know, was hoping for bigger things, and I was expecting maybe a bit bigger response. Foxhole we talked about last Clark Tank. Now 20XX, I like this trailer, the start with the 4 screens. I don't know, I felt like that got me pretty hyped. The music worked well. But yeah, I feel like this trailer starts out super hype. Although those appearing, these different screens appearing could have been timed more to the music. I basically always plan my trailers around music. Like, start out with music and where you want things to hit and stuff like that, because music gives you emotions. Audio, you know, gives you emotions, and it's one of the 2 things you have with a trailer is audio and video. So you should make sure that you're making really good use of your audio and sync it to the video, you know? You get more feels that way. And yeah, I'm just surprised that they don't have any sound effects. Wonder if they tried it and felt like it was overwhelming, but I think that you can do it in a way that isn't. Some of these sections where the music is a bit slower, like this stuff exploding at the end, would have been a bit more hype with sound effects. But anyway, overall, a good trailer, and yeah, glad to see, wow, 94% positive, good for them. Glad to see them in the charts after launching from early access. Congrats, guys. Alright, so 20XX, War Thunder is usually around somewhere. Marvel vs. Capcom is on sale. Street Fighter is on sale. Garry's Mod! I get to shake my fist at it again. It's been back in the charts lately. It's nice. Nice to have something to shake my fist at. So yeah, Garry's Mod. Good to see it in the charts. And Rust. And yeah, again, these sorts of things, Garry's Mod and Rust and Skyrim, being in the charts, kind of makes me feel like the recent releases may not be as strong, because I bet Garry's Mod has been, you know, down in the 60s or 70s while it was out of the charts, and now it's back in again, and it's probably because, you know, the competition right now is a little bit weaker. And Car Mechanic Simulator, which we talked about last week, or last Clark Tank, it was quite high in the charts for quite a while, even though it's got mixed reviews, so it struck a chord with people, even though this trailer is so bizarre. The Forest, I thought it came out of early access. No, I'm thinking of a different game. Signal from 12 is on sale. Resident Evil is on sale. More Resident Evil stuff is on sale. Call of Duty World War II, so this is pre-orders for November. And Factorio, again, another one that had kind of been pushed out of the charts, is back again. So I think that just means there isn't enough new stuff filling up the charts to push these things down. Alright, well that is the end of the top 50. And now Nidhogg, which we will be playing shortly. So yeah, part of the reason why I wanted to play Nidhogg 2 instead of a lot of the other games that came out recently is because I wanted to talk about indie sequels, which we did a little bit when we were talking about Tacoma. But you know, how many indie sequels can you name that have succeeded? There are a few, but yeah, can you guys think of any that have done like as well as the original? Hotline Miami 2. Did Hotline Miami 2 actually do as well as the first one? I think it did well. Binding of Isaac Rebirth, that is a good point, Nintendo. Yeah, that one is certainly a sequel that did very well. Was Orcs Must Die indie? I think so. Ollie Ollie 2, did it do well? Yeah, it's possible. So there definitely are some, right? But there are not a ton. You would think that there would be more. And I kind of wanted to talk about why and, you know, when should you consider making an indie sequel, that sort of thing. But I think one thing you need to think about is, like, what are the conditions now for this new game compared to the conditions, you know, that the original game had. Yeah, so what else? What other considerations are there? Well, I think for Necrodancer, part of the reason why it did really well is because it was novel. Like, when people hear, oh, dungeon crawling rhythm game, oh, and you play it on a dance pad and stuff like that, that's just kind of shocking, right? No one had done anything like that before. And now if you do it again, you do a sequel, it's no longer shocking, right? So the same sort of thing with Nidhogg. Some of those things that helped it succeed the first game, they're not going to be there. They're not going to be, you know, as powerful for the second game. But there are other things, like you have to think, can you innovate enough to avoid people saying, like, this is just too similar to the original? You know, this should have been a DLC, or this should have been a free update, worst of all. So yeah, I think these are some of the factors that impact Nidhogg 2, and that would impact any indie sequel. So I think kind of inherently, indie games usually succeed because they're unique and they're doing something surprising. So when you do a sequel, it's no longer unique, right? So I think that the sequels by default are going to be a bit weaker. So you need to add something else. It needs to innovate again in a new way. Now I'm going to fire up some Nidhogg, see what we can learn from this indie sequel. Oh, tried to be sneaky. I should have turned around and blocked that. Well, he's in trouble now. We got like broadswords or something now. Whoa, whoa, they function differently. Oh, ouch. Dagger versus broadsword. Made her drop it. Made me drop my broadsword. What? You can kick arrows back at people? That was fun. Even though it's like playing against a computer and stuff, it's fun. Like that game, you're always feeling the tension when they're making progress in your direction. It's so frustrating, and you want to get back at them. Yeah, the core design is super cool. I did like the new, like, what's new about this game? That's what we were talking about. Like, what can you bring to the table to differentiate it from the base game? So obviously the graphics and stuff are way different. I don't know if the original had like a arcade mode like we were just playing. So like more levels and more the weapons and stuff, I think, are the main difference, because they make you actually play differently. The rest of it is all cosmetic stuff. But yeah, so it's selling. It seems like it's selling okay, but not nearly as well as the first game. And the only thing I can really attribute that to is that the conditions now are different from when the game first launched, because I don't see how you could say that this is any worse. Like, it's definitely better. The only way in which it's not better than the original is if you prefer the original's graphics, right? So yeah, congrats to the team. They made a pretty fun sequel to Nidhogg. And yeah, I think we've learned a thing or two about indie sequels, so we can keep that in mind. And I'll certainly keep it in mind as I ponder whether someday we'll make a Necrodancer 2. But I do think that I would... This Nidhogg game kind of hewed very close to the original, and if I were to make a Necrodancer 2, I would want to make something that was quite a bit more distinct gameplay-wise. And then hopefully you could achieve something on par of the success of the original or greater if you make something unique and even better. But yeah, easier said than done, of course. Yeah, I think that wraps it up for this Clark Tank, chums. We'll catch you next time. This Clark Tank is over.